It is true.
Go. Hey everyone, we are live at Broadway.com, live at 5. My name is Paul Wontorek.
And my name is Ryan Lee Gilbert.
And that guy's name over there is Eric King.
Hello.
Nice haircut.
Look at great hair.
So, we have an exciting guest today.
We do, and our guest is actually going to be talking to us through the phone today.
The phone?
The phone!
No,
Phone's
God.
still
Never
working.
heard of that.
That's right.
God appears if you want him to appear.
God
or
just-
if you have a telephone. We're gonna
Bryan
call
Batt.
Our friend Bryan Batt.
Yes.
Who is starring in David Jaberbaum's.
An act of God in New Orleans, his hometown,
Yeah.
which is very exciting.
So we're going to catch up with him. But first, we're going to do today's top 5.
Okay, two wickedly talented stars are headed to the Hollywood Bowl.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Yes, two stars who have both been in Wicked, Anna Gasteyer and Megan Hilty, are doing Annie, directed by Michael Arden. This is happening at the Hollywood Bowl. It's happening in July 27th through the 29th. Anna Gasteyer will be playing Miss Hannigan, which is fantastic casting. And Megan Hilty will be doing Lily St. Regis. And they, of course, join Lea Salonga in it, who is being Grace Farrell. Very exciting to see this.
Yeah.
Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, I'm into
Great
it.
way to spend the summer. And Michael Arden, Tony nominated for Once on This Island. Lea
know.
Salonga currently in there.
Is Michael Arden going to have like a high concept? Like, is he going to
A new take
reinvent
on
it?
Annie. Hopefully, that's what he does. That's
I don't
his
know, we'll
specialty.
see. I'm excited.
An additional casting for this production, of course, will be announced soon, but those are our stars so far.
So we have news of a bioplay coming about a certain pioneering feminist to off-Broadway.
So everyone's talking about Diane Paulus, of course.
Yes.
What are they talking about?
Well, I mean, right now, she's got a couple of things going on. She's got the Jagged Little
Jagged
Pill
Little
musical.
Pill musical. Everyone's
Yeah.
talking about the Jagged Little Pill musical at ART.
Right.
And that's sort of in the works. I think it opens next week.
I believe so.
And she announced today that there's going to be a Gloria Steinem play called Gloria: A Life about journalist and activist
That's
Gloria
right.
Steinem. Diane Paulus will be directing it, and it will weave together personal and history-changing moments of the past 50 years, starting with Steinem's early adventures as a rare female reporter. This is interesting because it's like interactive.
Right, that's the catch.
The second act will feature a talking circle in which the audience will be invited to carry the themes of the play into a conversation. So it's like they worked the talk back into the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be a world premiere at the Dale Roth Theater off-Broadway, beginning previews October 2nd and opening set for October 18th.
Can't wait.
Love it. MTC rounded out their 2018-2019 season today with two new plays.
Yes, so we have two New York premieres. This is MTC's off-Broadway 2018-19 season. And the first one is from Eleanor Burgess, The Niceties, it's called. It'll be directed by Kimberly Senior. And this takes place at an elite university where an ambitious young black student and her esteemed white professor meet to discuss a paper about the American Revolution. Quickly, discussions turn to grammar and race. Very quickly, of course. And reputation. And then Long Lost is a new play from Pulitzer Prize winner Donald Margulies. And this is about a troubled young boy who returns out of the blue to visit his estranged brother at his Wall Street office. And then he soon tries to reinsert himself into the comfortable life David has built with his wife and son.
Oh, he wants some of that money.
He wants some of that money,
Yeah,
I
that
think is
comfort.
what's happening. Yes, absolutely. And that will be directed by Tony winner Daniel Sullivan. The Niceties will play in October, opening October 25th, and Long Lost will begin in May of 2019 and will open in June. No casting or anything like that announced yet.
Cool.
And three older, less appreciated musicals are getting an encore.
So, of course, Encores is, constantly bringing back classic musicals. They've announced their next season. They will be doing Call Me Madam, I Married an Angel, and High Button Shoes. Call Me Madam was actually the first show in the second season of Encores back in the mid-90s.
Really?
Tyne Daly starred in it, fun fact. But it's coming back February 6th through the 10th. It's an Ethel Merman role, so it's a chance for someone big and brassy.
Excellent.
I Married an Angel will be in March and High Button Shoes in May. Joshua Bergasse will direct and choreograph I Married an Angel, and it will star New York City Ballet principal dancer Sarah Mearns. Cool. Now, this is awesome, too. They also announced they're going to do a gala presentation of A Chorus Line.
Love it.
Love that.
Yes.
And a concert performance of Lady in the Dark, starring Vicki Clark. So I'm into all of it. A lot of fun shows.
Absolutely.
Okay, I just want to say that all those shows sound like they're made up. Like they sound fake. um, Miss You Like Hell is going to get a cast album.
Yes, Miss You Like Hell is the new musical from Chiara Allegri.
Well, it just closed, so if
It
you
just
miss
closed.
it like hell,
Right.
now you have an album.
Exactly. So, and Aaron McKeown did the music for this. It's incredible. Daphne Rubin Vega and Giselle Jimenez starred in it at the Public. Yeah, they're recording a cast album.
They got Drama Desk nominations. They got a lot of Drama Desk
I believe so.
nominations.
Yes. Yeah. It was incredible. If you missed it, I apologize. But yes, Ghostlight
Why are you
Records.
apologizing if they missed
if they
it?
missed it, now it was
It's not
incredible.
on you.
Sorry,
They missed
you're
it
right.
like hell.
Let it
They
go.
missed it like hell. They gotta let it go. But now you get to listen to the album, which is fantastic as well. And that I don't think we have a release date.
No,
for that
they're recording it today.
Just
Speaking of Let It Go,
yeah.
and Idina Menzel, I saw and Rent, the original cast of Rent. I saw Idina Menzel today.
You
at a press
did?
event for Skin Tight, which sounds very sexy.
Yes, it does.
That's the word of the day.
And a new Show People just
my
went up
God.
as well.
Oh my
Isn't
God!
that right?
Who's on Show People?
Noma Dumezweni.
I love that you know how to say it correctly.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh my God, she's
Tony
fantastic.
nominee.
I didn't
She's-
realize it went live.
Yeah, just went
Oh,
up.
good.
Yeah.
Go watch it. No,
It's
don't watch it
incredible.
yet because we have Bryan Batt to talk to. Hey, Eric, why don't you remind everyone and give them a brief bio of Mr. Batt before we give him a call?
Okay, you know Bryan Batt. Despite his lengthy theater resume, which includes Broadway credits like La Cage aux Folles, Cats, Saturday Night Fever, Sunset Boulevard, Beauty and the Beast, and many more, Bryan Batt is perhaps best known for his turn as Salvatore Romano on the AMC hit drama Mad Men. He's also appeared in movies like 12 Years a Slave and Jeffrey, as well as TV shows like Scream. Now, in a return to his hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana, he's starring in an act of God as the Almighty One himself. And that's what he's chatting about today. Leave your questions in the comments below, and please welcome Paul and Brian in the heavens.
He will be. We're going to call him now.
Yes,
we're,
let's
we're,
do
we're
it.
both gonna. We're
gonna say hi.
Let's see. Let's give him a call. Very behind the scenes.
Hello.
Is this God?
Oh, in his own mind.
Mr. Bryan Batt, it's Paul Wontorek. How are you?
Hey, Paul. I'm great. How are you?
I'm so happy you're joining us. We are. I'm also here with Ryan Lee Gilbert and Eric King from the Broadway.com team.
Hey, guys. How's everyone doing?
Hello there.
We're
great.
good.
Great.
So, hey, you're doing something exciting. Act of God. That's a really fun play.
Where do you go from here? It was really a challenge because, I'm of a certain age where, you walk into the kitchen or the bedroom and go, why did I come in here? What? I can't remember. And, recently I've not done so many live performances, mainly television and film, but, you get another take. But an hour and a half of, it's practically a monologue to memorize. And I was scared to death. And I talked to a lot of people, about how to go about doing it. And they just said, start early. And I did. And our director, Max Williams, who used to be with Hartford Stage, who's the artistic director of Le Petit Theater down here, was so supportive and so kind and just so giving and just had faith in me. And I don't know why, but he did. And I learned it. So, and I'm having a ball.
So, but how the hell did you learn it?
Right.
You just buckled down and.
There's a new trick. It's called this iPhone thing. And they have all these apps that really help you learn lines.
Really?
Some of them you can put in both parts if you have a scene or something like that. But it's kind of hard if it's just a monologue practice. But what I did was I recorded them, and wherever I went, whether I was driving or walking or on the treadmill or whatever, I'd put the headphones in and then say it along with myself. And it just the repetition. But that's the best way for me to learn anything. And it stuck. So far so good. I had the opportunity to have, on the monitor in the mezzanine. It's a beautiful little 330-seat house, and they have the little monitor where when musicals are put on there, you can see the conductor. I think when we did Cats, that was the first time they did that. But you can see it, and I opted not to. But Patricia Clarkson was saying, "You're crazy. You're crazy. What are you doing? You've got to have some kind of backup." And I kind of realized also that depending on who would be running that prompter, they could screw me up just as much as help me.
Wow.
So I kind of thought, yeah, I'm do the old-fashioned way.
So you're the crazy guy on the treadmill. I love it. That's what you were doing. You were
That's me.
learning how to be God.
It's so funny. Some of my friends, would say, Brian, we'd see you walking, on 7th Avenue or 8th Avenue or whatever, talking to yourself. We just thought you had lost your mind, but we realized you're just another actor in New York, learning their lines or working on an audition or something like that. Because when usually you see people talking to themselves, you think, something's, they're a little touched. Well, they are, but most of the time they're just learning lines.
Hey, Brian, it's Ryan.
Hey.
Hello. You haven't been on stage at Les Petites since
Say the full name of the theater.
The whole...
Le Petit Théâtre de Vieux Carré, but it's called Le Petit Theater. So you can just call it Le Petit.
I'm glad you did that. Yes.
It's in the French Quarter.
It's
in the French Quarter.
It's in the French Quarter,
It's
yes.
a classic theater.
You haven't been on
right there
stage...
in Jackson.
Right, you haven't been on
Jackson
stage
Square.
there since the 1980s. How does it
Yes.
feel? How does it feel to be back and doing this in front of your hometown crowd?
It really is great, But on top of it, there's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of they're expecting something. So,
Right.
But it is great because that was the stage that I really got to cut my teeth on. It's a beautiful gem of a theater right there in Jackson Square. It's just turned 100 a year ago, and it's just beautiful. And in fact, I'm the costume designer, Julie Wynn, who's been here in New Orleans. I think she studied up at Juilliard for a while, but came home to New Orleans, and we did our first show together there in 1982, and she did the costumes for this. So it's kind of like just such a coming home great feeling. And every time I come out of the stage door, there's more than the people that I was expecting, but even more so seeing people that I wasn't expecting. And it's been really well received, and it's a hysterical play.
It is.
It really is hysterical and timely, and it can be. It's so open for interpretation, which is so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
You've been you're almost full time, and you're basically full time in New Orleans, right?
Yes, but I still travel a lot. I'm up in New York a lot. I was in LA a lot, and but after a while we said we also have a business down here. My husband Tom and I have a home furnishing shop, gift shop called Hazelnut.
That's what I was going to talk about because I've actually been to Hazelnut.
Did you mean the new location or the old location?
I think it was the old location.
Yeah,
I just showed up. I just showed up one day, and it's really nice. You have beautiful things. So my question is, why do you love having a store, and what should we come there to buy?
Okay, I'm a shopaholic. That's one thing. If I wasn't an actor, I would be a personal shopper, because it's a strange skill and love. I just do love shopping, and I love bargains. But I don't know. Everything changes in the store constantly. I mean, one of the things I designed for the store is this toile fabric of New Orleans toile with scenes of New Orleans all over it. And it's been very popular, and especially now with the tricentennial, it's been very popular. So anything with that. Nice. But we expanded like a year and a half ago. Have a new space that's triple the size. So it's really it's a little more demanding. But when Tom and I cut a deal. We wanted to open a store and do this business, and I came down and we decided to do it down here. And the deal was, we'd open the store and then let it run for 6 months, run like a show. And then after that, I would be able to do whatever I wanted and go do shows and everything. And it worked out pretty well, but I did find myself gravitating back here. It's kind of like a baby. It's kind of your business. It becomes like your baby. And, if I'm not working on a play or working on a movie or working on a TV thing, it's fun being with your baby.
Right. But also, like, you also have been writing a lot recently, right? I hear you're putting finishing touches on a book right now.
Yes.
But you also wrote a memoir about the relationship with your mother. You did a design book. What prompted you to add another thing onto the list of things that you're doing?
My first book, She Ain't Heavy, She's My Mother, which has been adapted for TV, but it hasn't been picked up yet. Thank you. It was really one of these things. I started writing these stories, when I was doing Beauty and the Beast, and I showed them to Julie Halston. She said, you know some people who are, you don't know this, but they're book agents. And I showed it around. They said, keep on, keep on. And I kept on writing the stories about my mom because she was just this fascinating, hysterical, wonderful Auntie Mame of a character. And then when Mad Men hit, I was approached to finish it. So that's how that happened. Then with the store, the design book, the latest book is more regional. It's about my grandfather started an amusement park in New Orleans in the 20s, and it closed in the 80s. But it is still lore down here in the Gulf South. It was called Pontchartrain Beach. In fact, when I was doing rehearsals, I did the workshop years ago of the Royal Family of Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Elaine Stritch and Carol Lee.
Right,
and
that's
Bob
right.
Benanti, and Jerry Zaks was directing. And right when we started rehearsal, Bobby Bianco came up to me. He was associate choreographer with Scott Wise, and said, "Pontchartrain Beach, you're one of the Batt family, and that the Zephyr was the biggest roller coaster in the South," and told me all about this, all stuff that I didn't even know.
Wow.
So it was kind of people that in that world know it. So I finished that, and then and while I was down here just recently, I wrote a piece for the Tennessee Williams Festival that went really well called Dear Mr. Williams. So now I'm branching out into maybe theater pieces. Who knows? I just got to keep busy. It's, I get in trouble if I'm not busy.
I could imagine a TV show set in an amusement
I was
park
going
in
to say,
New
that
Orleans.
sounds right up
Well,
my
that's
alley.
what the pilot. I wrote a pilot with my friend David Rambo, and it's based on the first book because that was the family business, and it's in New Orleans. But that is the backdrop. It's kind of it's funny but very, very touching, and it's it's about a little boy growing up like me, and his great relationship with his mom, and in the backdrop, the amusement park is the family business. Kind of like 6 Feet Under, but not a funeral home.
Gotcha.
I was thinking about you because I interviewed Mr. Nathan Lane recently.
Oh.
And we were talking about, when The Birdcage came out, and it made me think of Jeffrey, which I love that play and that movie. And if anyone doesn't know Jeffrey, go watch the movie immediately. And it was so exciting that you got to obviously recreate your iconic role as Darius the cat. Now, which cat was he in Cats?
Well, he was a kind of a combination of several cats.
Okay, right.
He was. I was actually Munkastrap.
Right,
I was cast.
Yeah, you were actually a cat. Yeah.
I was a cat. Yeah. And my callback, I actually said to Paul Rudnick, he said, "Are you really in Cats?" I went, "Yeah, now and forever," and laughed. And he said, at that moment, he said he was considering rewriting the role because originally the character was a dancer in Grand Hotel, but when
my favorite musical.
Yeah, see, but the Cats thing was so much funnier. But
Right.
I think I wore an Alonzo costume with my collar and then some other leg warmers, and they lent it to us. And then when the show was moving, or they needed, when I had to come back as the angel, they decided they had to build a white cat costume because there wasn't one big enough. I mean, you can test the limits of Lycra that much. There's white cats, a little girl dances.
But it made me think that the reason why I brought up Nathan was because when he did The Birdcage, a year, which was actually after Jeffrey, The Birdcage came out.
Yeah,
after Jeffrey,
right between.
You both had similar things of sort of being openly gay theater actors dealing with suddenly I'm in a movie and I'm playing a gay character, and and it's so interesting. What's it like to see now that there's so many of these plays have come back, but something like Boys in the Band has an all openly gay cast. It's so crazy.
Isn't that
right?
wild? Isn't that great?
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
I can't wait to get to a point where it doesn't matter.
Right.
Where we don't care. We just celebrate our differences and the wonderful human, that we're all human, this human experience we're going through together. But I think it's fantastic. In fact, a couple of years ago, I called Paul Rudnick and I said, "Paul, I think it's time for Jeffrey revival, and I want to play Sterling."
Ooh.
And we did a reading, and it really went well. In fact, Michael Urie read Jeffrey, and it was a really wonderful cast. And it was just, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember who else was in it. But a lot of talented people. And I don't know what happened, because I think every other gay play has been revived on Broadway.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Right. Well, I mean, all this talk just reminds me, it's been so long since you've been here on Broadway. What would it take for us to get you back? What would you love to do?
I would. Oh, there's so many things I'd love to do. I'd love to do the Jeffrey revival. That would be so much
amazing.
Yeah.
2 summers ago, Rachel York and Betty and I, summer and a half ago, Betty Buckley and Rachel York and I did Grey Gardens in L.A.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah.
Josh, and it was a great production.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, and I thought I would. Rachel's like, "Would you come into New York with this?" I said, "With you in a heartbeat." You know, it was, it just, who knows?
Isn't Betty in New Orleans now?
She's right here. We had dinner last night.
No way.
We had dinner last night. She came to the matinee on Sunday, and we had dinner last night.
Because she's doing TV show.
Yeah.
Preacher, right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's doing Preacher. Yeah, she's fantastic.
What
we go way back. We did Sunset together.
Yes, I know. You
I
were
was
Joe
the
Gillis.
understudy.
You were the Joe Gillis standby.
I was standby, and I had never gone on because during Glenn's run, he had not missed, and I was on vacation, actually producing something at the very theater I'm working at now. Tom and I were producing Forever Plaid. And it was my week vacation. It was Betty's first week. I got a call and said, "Get back up here. You're going on tomorrow night." And I did. And, with each actress, they bring their own changes to the show. Subtle, but, make it their own. So there were little changes here and there. Actually, there was a key change for me. And I get to the rehearsal, and I'd heard all this lore about the diva Betty Buckley, and I get to the rehearsal, and I'm learning the changes. Betty shows up with a huge bouquet of flowers and walked over to me and gave them to me. She goes, "You're going to be magnificent." And we've been buddies ever since.
She's the best.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, do we have any questions from the fans watching?
Oh, sure thing. So you were talking about being a standby in Sunset Boulevard. You were also a standby in Seussical, is that right?
Bryan is a champion standby.
So
I know. I don't want to do it ever again.
One of the fans want to know, what was that like? Did you ever go on?
Oh, a lot. I did all of Rosie O'Donnell's matinees.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah,
you're actually scheduled to go on, right?
I was scheduled to go on.
Yeah.
That was a crazy experience. I was in Saturday Night Fever at the time, playing the DJ in Saturday Night Fever.
An iconic role, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And Casey Nicolau was in.
Yep.
Casey and I did like 3 or 4 shows in Seussical, and Kevin Chamberlain. I'm trying to think of who else. They were on the phone because they had offered me the standby, and I had like a knee injury in Saturday Night Fever, and I thought, well, I'll just do physical therapy and be the standby, and no one's going to miss for a while. Just, take it easy. And Casey's like, "Take this. You're going to be going on. Trust me, because he was calling from rehearsal." I get there in Boston, everything went crazy, but I mean, it was one of those things. I stood by for David Shiner, I stood by for Rosie O'Donnell, and Kathy Rigby.
Wow.
So I'm done. I'm done. Just in that role.
Love it. So Caitlin would like to know, we can't get through this without talking more about Mad Men. Caitlin loved Sal on Mad Men so much. Since he left the show in midway, I always wondered what happened to him. Do you ever think about that? Do you think he...
Oh, I've decided, he and Kitty, his wife, remain very good friends, but he lives on Fire Island and he wears caftans and has a Yorkie.
Love
yes,
it.
I love that.
He had it ready to go. He knew exactly. Okay. And you were talking a bit about coming back to what it would take to get you to come back to Broadway. If you could come back to a production that you've done in the past, but in a different role, what would you choose?
Well, besides Jeffrey.
Besides Jeffrey.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Okay, now I'm going to the list.
Yeah.
And wow, that's a hard one.
Don't say Old Deuteronomy.
No, that's a good role. They just sit on the tire and fly up in the sky. Okay. There's nothing in Starlight Express that I ever want to do again because I'm going to have knee surgeries.
Although Francis Raffel told me they're doing it without roller skates now.
Yeah, that's right. We were talking about that.
Which is ridiculous. But anyway, go ahead.
But exactly. It's like, we're doing cats, but they're not going to be cats. Oh God! I'm thinking, Sunset Boulevard, and I would like to play Max.
Oh, you're not Max level yet. Come on,
No, listen. You never know. One day it could happen. The hair could fall out.
I don't know. You have a good head of hair.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going anywhere. It died, but it's not going anywhere. I did this movie a couple of months ago, and they dyed my hair Elvis on a Bad Day black, and it growing out, it has turned, every color under the rainbow. I just call it menopause red now. I don't know what to do.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, we have to let you go. But everyone, Act of God is playing through May 27th, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And is it true it's only $15?
The cheapest seats are $15.
Okay. So you can get it for 15. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's so much fun to do a show in your hometown. And
Yeah.
yes, like you said, I hope our producers are listening because I will come back to New York in a heartbeat.
Well, we'd love to have you
We would
back.
love it.
Wow, I'd love it. Thank
everyone, the La Petite Theatre.
You're gonna give
whatever.
people
I didn't take French. I'm sorry. I didn't take
You're
French.
correct.
Act of God through May 27th. Bryan Batt, we adore you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And hope to see you in person soon.
You got it.
All right,
Thanks,
bye.
Paul. Thank you all. Bye.
Okay, that was Mr. Bryan Batt. Go
Yes.
see him in his show. He's fantastic.
And pick
He's
up
always
those
great.
books. Yes.
There's certain shows I just wish were closer.
I know.
Because we
I know.
can't-
Well, let's take a trip to New Orleans.
You want to go this weekend?
Absolutely.
We're going to New
I'm ready.
Orleans.
We're gonna
And
go
on
see
that
Bryan
note, Eric, why don't you take us out?
We go to the Muni, and then we swing down by New
Batt.
Orleans.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. You can watch Live at 5 every single weekday, live at 5 p.m. on Broadway.com's Facebook page. And if you're a fan of podcasts or want another way to consume this show, you can subscribe to us at Live at 5 wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in tomorrow and have a great night. Thanks, everyone.